What up, world? I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all the men that want to be fathers in this thing called life, and they are dealing with obstacles, roadblocks, and challenges that won't let them, be present for their fatherly duties. I have two sons that live in Texas. Monster Bug, Daddy loves you a lot, and they were supposed to spend the summer with me. However, they are currently being bought out with material items, so they stay with their mom. And I know I'm not the only man that goes through this, but it also makes me think of my childhood and question if my mother did those same things to me. So I was young and reckless, and I take full accountability for this and had a bunch of kids at a young age. And it only takes one woman to be really scorned and really pissed off to try to destroy your life. And I'm dealing with that situation. My boys are 11 and 10 years old. I've been on child support since they were 1 and 2 months old. I've been on child support here in Missouri, and then she moved to Tennessee and put me on child support in Tennessee. And she's currently in Texas and also put me on child support in Texas. So it's been like this tri-state thing where this state will like seize my E-Trade account, and this state will seize my tax return, and this state will seize my tax return for the next year because they all think I'm not paying child support. And meanwhile, money was still getting stuck on my check the whole time. But it is what it is, and when you play with the devil, you get burned. But you fast forward to now. July 3rd was the last time I seen my son. He was living with me for the last 2 or 3 years. His mother said that she was getting married or something of that nature, and she wanted him to come visit. And in my heart, I really didn't want to let him go. I could tell he really didn't want to go either. But as a dad, you got to do what you got to do. And I walked him we went to the airport, and he got on the plane. And July 3rd of last year, he went to Texas, and he has not been back to Missouri since. His mother won't let him return. And he's having great behavior in school, and we just kind of got to play this game, me and her, to tiptoe. Me and him got to play this game around her so we can have a relationship, so we can talk. At first, she took his phone from him, so he couldn't communicate with me. So we was communicating through the PlayStation controller. If we both was on the gamer tag, we could talk to the controller, and we did that for about 4 to 5 months, and she had no idea that we was communicating. And then she finally found out about it and was not the happiest, but it wasn't much she could do. So school got out for him May 22nd, and he been hoping to come up here. So the week before school got out, she gave him his cell phone back so he can communicate with me. But like I told y'all, child support didn't had all this money held up, and they called me maybe like 3 weeks ago. The state of Texas did, and let me know that they finally got it cleared up, and they was about to release the money to her. So she just got a check for about $15,000 to $20,000, right? And it's crazy to watch somebody else ball out on your money. But my son called me probably 2 or 3 times a day. Daddy, look what mama just bought me. Daddy, I got this. And Daddy, I got that. And a part of my heart is happy for him because, like, at least the money is being spent on him. Like, you see them doing family photo shoots with her other kids and all that and stuff. But it is what it is. But on the other part of it, it lets me know my son is getting all these material items to replace his father. So it's like a bitter catch-22. Because every time he called me, Daddy, look what I just got. I'm hyped for him. Yeah, son, congratulations. But in my head, it's like, Daddy paid for that, right? And mama is buying you all these things to keep us from physically being together. And it made me think of my childhood. Did my mama do this against my father? It's like, hell yeah, she did. When I was in the 8th grade and she bought me the retro Jordan 17s, that was $200+ with the alligator skin on the back and the copper. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comments below. We was in poverty. We Section 8 food stamps. Mama sold half her food stamps to buy me some $200 Jordans. That's pure ignorance. That's dumb. But she only did that to keep me close to her because she knew materially I wanted to be with my daddy. But she was buying me the new J's, and she was buying me the Jabot jeans, all them stupid material things that had no value and really won't make you a man. They just make you look cool when you a teenager. That's what my mama did for me. So it made me look at my son, and it's like, man, life truly repeats itself. But I made a promise to myself, and that's why I wanted to make this video to other men. It's not your son's fault. They don't deserve any anger, any resentment towards you. I know it's crazy to witness and sometimes to be a part of this situation where somebody is truly trying to drive a wedge in between you and your seed, the children you created. I mean, that's the plan of the devil. Why wouldn't I want to make you angry? Why wouldn't I want to frustrate you? Why wouldn't I want you to quit? So they say, see, told you he didn't care. Told you it didn't really matter. If I've learned nothing in my life, man, is I transmute every negative situation into a positive one. And there's a silver lining that will happen out of this. Someday, somehow, my boys will be 25 and 26, and we'll be able to talk back about when they was getting every material thing that they wanted, but they wasn't getting the wisdom of their father. They couldn't get a hug. They couldn't go to the park and play 21 with me. And wherever you are in this world, man, if you're not getting to see your children, now is the time to build. Now is the time to create. Use this as your apprenticeship phase because you have nothing but time. Pretend you in a jail cell locked in, get some push-ups in every day, get you a notebook and journal and write. Like the world, it bets on men to quit on themselves. I'm gonna put a dispensary on every corner. I got every ad you see on your phone is gonna be some ass and some titties. I am gonna tempt you to not be disciplined, to not become successful. And I'm saying don't fall victim to the world, man. Romans 12:2, do not conform. Be transformed by the renewing of what? By your mind. Because whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And only you know what's inside your head. And if you ain't got nothing that meaningful in there, then man, go to the library. Increase your intellectual property. Whatever you love to do, what's ever important to you, whatever you want to know about, I promise you can find a book about it to make yourself a better individual. And why not? Why not focus on you until the focus is on you? Why not take every negative thing that's ever happened into your life and turn it into something positive? My first son dying, I didn't turn that into something positive. Second son dying, we didn't turn it into something positive. Mama overdosing on opioids, we didn't turn it into something positive. Now I'm not getting to see my children the way I want to, the way they want to. Turn it into something positive. Nothing can stop you but you. Nothing can hold you down. Nothing can make you quit. And the dopest part about enhancing this intellectual property is nobody can take it away from you. You know, I used to always hear, the saying that someone could win the lottery and they'd be broke within a year. But you can have somebody who was a millionaire or a billionaire and they can go broke and don't sweat it all because they can get it right back. But that's because you understand it's mental. You become rich in your mind long before you become rich in your bank account. The physical world is dummy slow. It takes a while to catch up with the spiritual side of things. And that's why they say what you do for the next 5 years could change your reality. It only takes 1 year for it to really set your life off. But if I'm focused on the past, on the negativity and what went wrong, then where attention goes, energy flows. And these negative situations going to keep popping up to see if you stumble the same way. If you put the same energy into them. If you keep giving that flower water and sun, it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. I turn the water hose off. And that's what you got to learn to do as well. Because there's a lot of young men who are going to go through this. Like, I truly don't believe the deadbeat dad narrative at all. At all. When I was a kid, I heard it. And now I'm an adult and I still hear it. And you hear 80% of black children don't have fathers. And 45% of white children don't have fathers. You can't tell me that many young boys that grew up without fathers also now don't want to be fathers. It makes zero sense. You can't tell me that many young girls who were raised with just a mama didn't get no type of game or guidance on how to pick a good man. They copying the trends that were set for them. And that's why you got to forget them. That's why I don't have no anger or resentment towards the women that I've procreated with in my youthful ignorance. Because they've never seen a good man. They didn't have a dad. They've only seen men run in and out their mama's bedroom. So all that anger, all that resentment their mother had to men, they poured it into their daughter. So you never really had a chance anyway. So it's all you could do is what you can do. Learn from your mistakes and move forward. And that's all I could do is learn from my mistakes and move forward. But the irony of that is we live in a culture that tells men that they should take or date 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 girls at a time. And that's where my ignorance came in, right? Like when you lock in on one woman, you can pay attention to what's her flaws, what's good about her, what you like, what you dislike. Nah, this ain't no long-term future. But when I was reckless and I was sleeping with her and sleeping with her and sleeping with her and sleeping with her, I had no time to recognize anybody's flaws. I had no time to see bad character traits and things like, ooh, I don't want my children to have that. I don't want, you know what I mean? Because I was just knocking them down and moving. So you do what you do, but watch my shoes. But a lot of the advice that's given to the massive young men, it clearly seems like it's coming from men who's never had a plethora of women at a young age. I'm not talking about going out and buying vagina. I'm talking being 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, with just an abundance of women. But what you realize is the only thing on the other side of all that pleasure is pain and broken hearts and cars keyed and girls pulled out on you and child support cases and custody battles and you can't pick your kids up from daycare. It just I don't know a man who was reckless with women who had a positive outcome. But all of my mentors, all of the men that I know that are millionaires that are living extremely comfortable, that can wake up and decide what they want to do with their life, they all been married for a while. And they all tapped into semen retention, transmuting that energy into something positive. You can keep shooting that energy into a woman and keep creating kids. You can keep shooting in the socks, shooting in the gloves, or you can shoot into your art. You can shoot into something that you love to do. And the return is way bigger. Read Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 11, Sexual Transmutation. Thoughts or Things by Prentice Mulford. You know, there's a few YouTube channels that talk about, sexual transmutation. Kevin Gates talks about it a lot, and it seems taboo or ignorance. But as a man, you know how you feel after 3, 4, or 5 days of not releasing. You feel like a monster. The amount of energy you got, bro, you could just go. That's how I'm up. It's 6:29 a.m. right now. I've been up for like 2 hours. I hooped yesterday at 6 a.m. I worked yesterday. I lift weights. And put that energy that you got in your body, God gave it to you for a reason. Do you think God wakes you up every morning full of energy just to find another random girl to release it in? Or does God give you the energy so you can go out and create something meaningful and special? And if you look around, everything was created by somebody just like you. 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 feet, a brain, a heart. So you got the same ability. Or you can sit there and you can scroll, you can comment, you can DM big booty chicks. Uh, the choice is up to you, gang. But I know there's a lot of talented men in this world. There's another Ralph Waldo Emerson out there somewhere. There's another Ralph Waldo Tron. There's another Napoleon Hill. There's another Wayne Dyer. There's another Carter G. Woodson. There's another Bob Proctor. You just got to tap in. In the same way that Wayne created YNW. Well, he didn't create, but the evolution of Wayne was YNW Melly and Young Thug and all these new young boys. There's an evolution of Booker T. Washington out there. There's an evolution of Jack Johnson, evolution of Malcolm X, evolution of Marcus Garvey. And I ain't talking about the Dr. Umars of the world who just say whatever that the women want them to say. We got to step away from that. That's real low vibrational. I'm on some Kevin Hart vibes. Kevin saying, say what your chest, little nigga. And if we ever gonna evolve as men, we got to be willing to speak our truth. But that's a consequence of being raised in a single mother household. Is that your father wasn't there to give you confidence to speak up? Like, when my sons get in trouble, I ask them why they did something. I don't yell at them or just berate them. I want to hear truly, what were you thinking when you made that choice? Do you understand this could have been said consequence of that choice? So now when they move forward in life, they think before they act. Versus if you can't take constructive criticism, you can never grow. If I ain't learned nothing in life, no man is your friend, no man is your enemy, but every man can be a teacher if you allow them to be. Because you could look at where they are in life and say, do I want that life? Do I want that path? No, I don't want to live that way. And when you find somebody that's living lit, man, you ask them to be your mentor. As Napoleon Hill said, you could create a mastermind group of people that are living positive and productive. And that's what I did. You hear a lot on the internet about black fatigue and all that. Nigga, I'm from the hood of the hood of the hood, and I don't have that because I'm not associated with that culture anymore. You don't have to be around negativity if you don't want to be. Your algorithm doesn't have to be structured that way if you don't want it to be. You can remove yourself from that frequency because everything is frequency and energy. However, the collective consciousness of the environment is really strong, and it pulls you down so much that you got to be a strong magnet to fight away from it. And that's why I say that you got to put a bubble around yourself like Bubble Boy. Because the world, the energy is a dummy negative. It's not really shocking that this is the manifestation of life we see, but individually, you don't have to live on that frequency. That's something that's just not taught to you. While the whole world is over there vibrating low, we over here vibrating high as hell, you did. But that takes a lot of self-reflecting and looking at the role that you played in all your negative choices and then moving forward and doing better. You have survived 100% of your bad days, as I have. And I easily can look back in my life and say, oh, me, and why did I go through this? Everything was a lesson. As Bob Proctor said, we all are born rich. We're just a little short of money. But that money comes from the wisdom through our hardships, through our challenges, through our falls, through our struggles. Because now we have a roadmap to go out and help the world, not fall for the same mistakes you did. So all things work together for the greater good if you learn to see that. I just wanted to drop this quick nugget out there for the young men, because it's a lot of young men who going to go through a divorce. Unfortunately, they're gonna get hit by the blindsided. Ray Lewis hit. Damn, I didn't know she was gonna leave me. I didn't know she's gonna take the house. I know she's gonna take my kids. It happens to the best of them. But I don't believe in laughing at other men's mistakes. I believe in learning from them. And if a man wants to go out there and willingly fail, then you wish him the best, and you let him make his own steps. I don't have anything negative to say about a Travis Hunter situation. Man's a young, fantastic, phenomenal athlete. Maybe the young woman will realize she got a gym and treat him as such. But if she does not, that's going to be her fumble, her loss. He'll learn from his mistakes potentially, and he'll move forward and he'll keep growing. That's the beauty of this thing called life, is we all have to live our own life. But wherever you are, man, focus on you until the focus on you. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish with faith, consistency, and hard work. The sky's the limit, from the projects to the penthouse, from the trailer park to the White House. Wherever you want to go, you have that ability. Because anything the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Focus on you, once again, believe in yourself. Ignore the noise, have complete tunnel vision from all the propaganda, because that's all it truly is. And you don't know who's paid off to mislead you. So get inside the Bible, get inside these books. Don't even just take my word for it. I'm just another human like you are. But I understand there is no one way to reach success. We outie. I love you all. Peace.